You all have already done this before, and but we're going to kind of recap that. And I'm going to ask you to do it again in light of some things you've learned about yourself since you did your first internship. The idea behind this whole student assessment piece is to take experiences, take what you know from what you've accomplished before, the kind of things that you've discovered that you are good in doing, to look at different kind of tests and so forth that you've taken, personality profiles, and kind of help you to clarify exactly what you want to accomplish and what your goals are. There are a lot of ways that we discover who we are and what we're good at. The personality profiles, the different kind of instruments we're involved in, are a way of doing that. None of those is a complete picture. If you look at it from the standpoint of, I kind of look at it from the standpoint of, here you are, and you take all these different instruments, the Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram, people map, whatever. And all of these are different ways of reflecting on who you are. None of those give you a complete picture. If you ever go through an assessment, seminary students here used to go through a complete assessment before they started with the local counseling center. And I actually did that before I started the DMN program several years ago with the same organization. I pulled that stuff out the other day, and it dealt with personality. It dealt with the way that I interact with other people, with conflict. How do I manage conflict? What's my learning style? And all those. All these instruments measure different things or reflect back to you certain things. The important thing is not what they say, but what you think about it and how you apply it. And there, Myers-Briggs, the Strengths Finder, there's a Taylor-Johnson inventory, a Fire-OB, a Enneagram, the DISC, the People Map. All of these just are indicators about how you perform and what you do and what you feel good about. And as we think about all this kind of constellation of insights, it's up to us to process that, to get a better understanding of who we are and what we're about. There are four basic things we're dealing with in any kind of educational context. First of all, we're dealing with knowledge. And knowledge can be acquired in a lot of ways. It can be acquired in reading and discussion and experiential education. Most often, knowledge is basically facts and figures more than anything else. When did the temple fall in Jerusalem? What was the? That's not a question that you have to answer. What's the difference between the Synoptic Gospels and John? Things like that. That's knowledge. Those are knowledge kind of things that you acquire primarily in a classroom setting. There are skills, and skills are things that we learn how to do. Keyboarding is a skill, and we learn that by practicing it over a period of time. Attitudes. Very often attitudes are based on, first of all, our environment and then the choices we make about our environment. Attitudes are the way that we do things. Tolerance is an attitude. Have you changed your perspective about the way you relate to people of other cultures? If you've just been through a cross-cultural internship experience, I would imagine you have some different ideas about how you relate to people of other cultures. So you learn that from experience, reflecting on that experience and making choices about attitudes. Values are pretty much ingrained. Values are, they're based on our experience, they're based on our aspiration, our vision of what we want to become. These are kind of the being things. Being dependable, expressing integrity. Those are all values. All of those really are part of the formation experience that you go through in seminary, and different ways you're exposed to opportunities to either discover those things or develop those things during your educational experience. We're going to talk in a few minutes about the assessment form, but I hope what you get from doing the student assessment is an opportunity just to kind of think, reflect, and dream a little bit, possibly, on what you want to do in the future, okay?